I have spent over $500 on 9 different colored bricks. I'm talking about Club de Nuit fragrances. I own 9 of their most popular ones. At this point, I think I literally own every single one. But which ones are worth the money? Which ones are worth the hype? That's what you're going to be finding out in today's video, because I'm going to be ranking all 9 of them into a tier list. Club de Nuit, iconic. This was one that definitely had to grow on me. It is kind of a clone of Bleu de Chanel EDT / EDP. I actually don't own a Bleu de Chanel fragrance, so as you can imagine, this isn't my favorite Club de Nuit fragrance, but I will say, for around 30 to 40 bucks, you basically get that same soapy, citrusy, woody Bleu de Chanel smell, but lower down the classy and elegance, but then increase the performance. This fragrance is honestly an interesting one. Although it does kind of resemble Bleu de Chanel, it almost kind of has a Windex window cleaner synthetic element in both the opening and dry down, which I find also causes some nose blindness. So when you first wear this, it's easy to think that it's a weak fragrance that doesn't last, but trust me, everybody around you can smell you. If you don't mind a fragrance that is a little bit more on the synthetic side rather than kind of natural smelling like the original Bleu de Chanel, I think this fragrance is definitely worth taking a look into. I also do really enjoy the bottle design of this particular Club de Nuit fragrance. The blue is gorgeous, and although bottle design doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, it's nice having a good looking fragrance. Overall, this isn't my favorite from the Club de Nuit line, but I do really enjoy it. I think they've done a solid job taking the Bleu de Chanel smell, making it at a more affordable price point, and then also increasing the performance. So I'm going to put it into the B tier. Next, we have a Club de Nuit fragrance that I'm so excited to finally talk about because I only just recently bought it. Man, it is so good. Club de Nuit Imperiale. Now, this one is actually directly marketed towards women. Like, when you look at it on Fragrantica, it says Club de Nuit Imperiale for women, not even marketed as unisex, and that is because this is inspired by Parfums de Marly, the Lena Exclusive, which I have never smelled before, but I can't imagine it smells that much better than this. You get a really strong and prominent rose note, you get a really unique lychee note, and then just a whole bunch of musky, powdery vanilla goodness in the dry down. I'm actually going to make this my scent of the day because I'm not wearing anything right now. I'm actually going out after this, and it is a cold day, which is perfect for this type of scent. Let me just tell you, this thing is a powerhouse. The projection, like a lot of Club de Nuit fragrances, is unforgiving, unapologetic, and just all up in your grill. So you gotta calm down with the sprays. I'm gonna do 3. Another thing to note, if you're a dude and you like more masculine, traditional, fresh fragrances, definitely stay away from this one. This is for a guy with an open mind, or just for any woman out there that wants to smell like an absolute snack. This fragrance is amazing. In terms of a tier, for a woman, it would be S tier, but since this video is mostly towards men, I would say because it only appeals to a smaller percent of men, I'm going to put it in the A tier. What's also fantastic about this fragrance is the way it just sticks onto clothing. Like, those sprays there are never coming off. Even if I put it through the wash, I can almost guarantee I'll still be getting a sniff and a whiff of it 24, 48 hours later. It just has that lasting effect. I don't know how our moth has done it, but whatever's in this is absolutely freaking nuclear. The next Club de Nuit fragrance is one that I'm not even going to be spraying into the air. Not even on a tester strip. Club de Nuit Untold. This is inspired by Baccarat Rouge 540, and if you know anything about me, I hate that fragrance with a passion. Not even just because my toxic ex-girlfriend wore it, although that is one factor. It just smells awful. I never liked it even before she started wearing it. Synthetic, overly floral, just in your face, bomb. I absolutely despise the smell. Every second girl at my university wears it. I'm done. We are leaving Baccarat Rouge 540 in 2024, and it is not coming with us in 2025. Basically, take the Baccarat Rouge smell, use less higher quality ingredients, make the blend even more kind of synthetic and in your face, and you get Club de Nuit Untold. The only saving grace of this fragrance is because it's 40 bucks. It does smell like technically a $400 Baccarat Rouge niche fragrance, and it does have great performance. But when the actual thing it's cloning smells like ass cheeks, this one's not going to be a yes for me. At first, I was considering being nice and putting it in maybe C tier, but then I looked at the bottle design and realized it's also not my liking either. When you combine the two facts of the bottle design looks cheap and childish in my opinion, and the smell is really bad, the fact that the performance is good and it's cheap does not save it at all. I'm putting it in the D tier. Comment at me in the comments if you want. This thing is cheeks. Just for you guys, I'm going to smell it again, but I'm going to do a Jeremy fragrance and put it in the cap because I don't want this in my room. I don't want this, you know. Oh man, that's bad. This smells like something a 14-year-old high school girl would wear as part of like the popular mean girls at school. This is not it. Nothing beats a timeless classic smell. And in this case, that timeless smell is Clubbed and Away Intense Man EDT. This is the fragrance that put our mouth on the map. This blew up the entire Clubbed and Away line, and honestly, for a good reason. This is still the most complimented fragrance in my entire 200 plus bottle collection till this day. I've had a lot of time with this fragrance. I've gone through around 3 bottles of it now. The price point is excellent. The performance you get is excellent. The smell, excluding the first kind of 5 minutes of the opening, is fantastic. And yes, it is a clone of the legendary Creed Aventus. You get a super manly, fresh, kind of leathery, citrusy, smoky smell. It's honestly really nice. As sick and bored and tired of the, Creed Aventus DNA as I am, this stuff just undeniably does it fantastically. And if you enjoy that scent profile, you will love this fragrance, particularly in the dry down. A common complaint in the community, and one that I, do kind of agree with, is that for the first few minutes, it does sort of smell like synthetic lemon cleaner. And yes, that is true. However, it weirdly kind of grows on you in my experience. Like at this point in time, I've worn this so much that I enjoy the opening. And maybe that's just something you got to get to through wear and trial and experience. A lot of people don't like it at first, but I can, I'm pretty confident that it'll grow on you at least a little bit. But yeah, most complimented in my entire collection, a fragrance I still like wearing to this day. I can't really fault it. I'm going to put it in the high A tier. Now, this next Club de Nuit was sent to me by Armaf, and it's Club de Nuit Intense Man EDP, and I wanted to try Club de Nuit Intense Man Parfum, but they sent me this instead. Now, in the air, I don't pick up any difference between the EDT and the EDP, even in the opening, but on tester strips, the EDP is definitely slightly smoother. However, I still would recommend just getting the EDT because you do save around 30 to 40 bucks. Yes, with the EDP, you do get 200 ml as opposed to a 105 ml bottle, but that's not always a good thing. For one, most people don't even go through an entire 100 ml cologne bottle in their entire lifetime, let alone 200. 100 as well is a lot more portable to carry around. I don't really see myself taking this through airplane security. I don't know about you, but it's just way too big and clunky. And I also think it looks a lot worse in the bigger size bottle. On top of that, I find the projection of the EDT is slightly better and it lasts the same amount of time on skin as the EDP. So with all that being said, the EDP is going to go into the B tier and we're going to keep the EDT in the A tier. This next Club de Nuit is one that had potential to blow up if it was priced more reasonably, and that is Club de Nuit's Oud. Now, you can probably tell from the presentation that yes, this is a higher price pointed fragrance, but all it actually is a clone of Xerjoff's Herbe Pura for 120 Aussie dollars. That stings just saying out loud. But look, before we fully get onto the smell, I do want to show you this presentation. I do think it is pretty cool. The box looks great. And there it is. And it has this kind of like textured cap. I'm not sure if you can see that. I love the presentation of this fragrance. Honestly, like a 9 out of 10 for bottle design alone. But the smell is just very close to Herbe Pura. So you get that creamy fruit basket, super loud and strong performance. All of that is passed over onto this fragrance. But yeah, it's just too expensive. And I think there are too many clones of Herbe Pura on the market right now for this to kind of remain competitive. Herbe Pura is actually a fragrance that I'm wearing less and less of recently. It's not one that I'm really connecting with. I find it is just a little bit too feminine for my liking. And yes, I do find this fragrance is more feminine smelling than Club de Nuit Imperiale. It's just not for me. I feel like some people, if they could justify and afford the price point, they might enjoy this one. I'm going to put it into the low C tier. As I always say, guys, if you want the Herba Pure smell in 2025, just get Herba Gold. It's an improvement in every single way possible. Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. This is a fragrance that is very well received by the public. I think it has like a 4.5 rating on Fragrantica. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it 100% deserves the hype. Armaf honestly did a thing when they made this fragrance. Like, the perfumers that cooked this up, they were in their bag. The reason I say that is because they analyzed Dior Sauvage EDP/EDT. They analyzed Creed Aventus, and they went, what are the best and worst parts of each of these fragrances? They took away the worst parts, kept the best parts, and then mixed them together into one. I actually recently did a describing every Club de Nuit fragrance with just 3 words video on my TikTok, and I described this as Sauvage Aventus mixed, and like, that is exactly how it smells. You get 2 of the most mass appealing men's scent profiles on the planet, you keep the best parts of them, mix it into one bottle, and you get this absolute beast of a fragrance. I think this could easily be the most compliment scent in my entire collection if I keep on wearing this consistently. I mean, like, I only got it 3 weeks ago. I've worn it 3 times, and 2 out of those 3 times, I've already gotten a compliment. Like, you just know with some fragrances that they're going to be compliment getters. This is one of them. Performance is really, really solid. I wouldn't go as far as to say this is as strong as something as like Club de Nuit Intense Man EDT, or, you know, Club de Nuit Oud, or Club de Nuit Imperiale, but it still is very strong, like 7-8 hours longevity with moderate projection. This is like a 5 or 6 kind of daily signature scent, where if you don't want to fork out the money on a designer fragrance like Sauvage or a niche like Aventus, definitely check out Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. In terms of its tier list rating, honestly, I think it's going in the S tier. I was going to say A tier, but that's kind of selling it short, especially since it's already this good and I've worn it so little. Low S tier. Speaking of Creed fragrances, guess what? This is another Creed clone. Club de Nuit Milestone, or Milestone. It's got to be Milestone, right? Milestone just sounds stupid. Now, this is inspired by Creed Milestone's Imperial. Milestone. Creed Milsom Imperial. I've definitely never tried that one before. So yeah, my Creed knowledge is obviously not great, guys, but cut me some slack because, you know, I know how this smells as a standalone. Although I don't know what the original smells like, this is honestly pretty freaking good. It's a very unique summer fragrance. It's extremely aquatic and kind of minerally, almost a little bit salty as well is what I'm getting, but it has a beautiful, almost watermelon-based note. I'm not sure if watermelon's a listed note, but to me, it smells like if you took a watermelon gummy and then lowered some of the sweetness and added like a really aquatic element. You took a watermelon gummy, you know, poured some salt over the top and then rinsed it under salt water, and turn that into a perfume, and you would get this fragrance. It's actually really, really nice. Just like most Club de Nuits, fantastic price point around that $40 to $50 mark. At least in Australia, it's going to be a bit more, maybe 70 or 80. I like the bottle design of this one. A lot of the Club de Nuit bottles are going to be controversial because they're very bold and bright and in your face. Personally, I think this is one of their best ones. For a more aquatic, fresh summer fragrance, it's very, very unique. It has great performance, 7-8 hours longevity with very strong projection actually. The one time I did wear this recently, 3 sprays still felt like it could have been too much, which is kind of crazy for how, you know, fresh it is. This is great in the Aussie summer right now. If you live in a hot climate, this is probably, I would say, Club de Nuit's best freshy fragrance. I know they have, you know, Club de Nuit Sillage, which I've smelled once and I hated it. So honestly, right now, off the top of my head, this is the best for the really, really high heat. I'm kind of tossing up between B and A tier. I think because honestly, this is not going to be something I'm reaching for all the time. Oh, it is great value for money though. Let's go with the high B tier, but honestly, my opinion could change and that, you know, it could go up to the low A tier sometime soon. We have finally made it to the last Club de Nuit fragrance on this tier list. And guess what, guys? I saved the best for last. The reason I did that was to just kind of reward the people that sticks to the end of the video. I was going to say at the start, you know, watch till the end to see the best for last. Nah, we'll just make it a surprise. It is Club de Nuit's Precieux. Now, it has some drawbacks, and I'm going to get them out of the way first, and then I'm gonna rant about how freaking good this thing is. Drawback 1 is how freaking expensive it is. Like in Australia, it's like 140 bucks. It is like designer fragrance pricing. Con 2 is you pay a lot of money and you only get 55 ml of liquid. As you can see, the bottle is super skinny. It looks like it could be 100 ml, but not. It is a 55 ml bottle. And then con 3, which for some people it's a con, for some people it's a pro. This is a clone of Creed Aventus Absolute. So you're paying a lot of money for basically an inspired by or clone fragrance and not a unique creation, which for some people is going to be a drawback, and then again, some people like it. Now, I have smelled Creed Aventus Absolute a few times in the past, and from what I can remember, this thing is so spot on. It is the best Aventus related cologne I've ever smelt, and I wore this for 3 days straight at a perfume convention called Scent Explore in New York. You may have seen my video actually interviewing fragrance influencers about this fragrance, and the 3 people I interviewed all rated it a 9 out of 10 or higher. Genuinely, I just told them to give their honest thoughts and they loved it. 2 out of 3 of the days, I got a compliment by someone wearing this fragrance. It is just perfectly strong. It's not too in your face, but it's also, it just sits there. Like, it is an extrait de parfum, so it is a very concentrated oil. Like, it smells incredible. You can tell the ingredients they've used are pretty high quality. The blend is smooth. Everything from opening to dry down is smooth. Nothing jars out. There are no notes that jump out of you in particular. It's just masculine, CEO type smelling sexiness in a bottle. This fragrance is so easy for me to recommend. Just go to your local Macy's, Dillard's, Selvages, Maya if you're in Australia. Smell Creed Aventus Absolute. If you want to smell like that for a quarter of the price with even better performance, then you go out and buy Club de Nuit Precieux. It's as simple as that. There's no debate. This is an S tier. This is still my favorite Club de Nuit fragrance to this day. There's some other Club de Nuits that get fairly close to it, like Imperiale I love, Urban Man Elixir is great, but nothing quite compares to this release. Like, I'm off cooked with this one. That is going to wrap it up on ranking all 9 of my Club de Nuit fragrances into a tier list. I hope you loved this video. Let me know your favorite Club de Nuit fragrance down below in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!